Hi, welcome to Centerville Reports Today. I'm Maureen Russell Hodson. And I know with these frigid temperatures outside, you might be thinking, let's fire up that space heater or leave your fireplace going throughout the night. But before you do that, we're going to give you some tips from the Washington Township Fire Department. And here to tell us more, we have Lieutenant Justin Keller and also Scott Henry, who's the public education specialist. And thank you both for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk about Project Lifesaver a little bit later in the program. But right now, I know I'm guilty of this myself. It's cold at work. My feet are cold. Boy, plugging in a space heater kind of gets things rocking and rolling and makes you feel a lot more comfortable. Not always the thing to do, though, right?
Right, and we absolutely understand that there's a need for them and a use for them, but we just want you to use them safely.
Yeah.
We actually even have one here that we plugged in.
This is a what not to do.
Right. This is our not good one. So we have a couple options here. I've plugged this into an extension cord, which is not recommended. We want you to plug these space heaters directly into the wall outlet.
And let me ask you a question. Is that really for any high-powered thing you should not be using an extension cord?
Yep, I have this in my hand here. I can feel this already starting to heat up.
Okay.
You know, a space heater uses a lot of power, a lot of electricity. It's kind of similar, you know, a forced air heater. It's almost like leaving a hairdryer plugged in, which no one would think is a good idea.
Right.
But yeah, this extension cord is getting warm in my hand. So we want to make sure you plug these right into the wall to make sure that you get a good flow of current and electricity into the unit. And then a little test that we want you to do for any that you have at home or at work is tip it over, and
it's still going.
And it should turn itself off.
Yeah.
So this one is not, and it's actually this one is hot. I mean, I can't put my hand on it for more than a second or two.
Okay.
But yeah, a good one plugged right into the wall, and when it tips over, it should turn itself off. Because if there's, you know, children, pets, anything around the house, one of these that gets accidentally knocked over when you get up from your desk, we want to make sure that it's safe. We also only want you to use these in rooms when you're in there.
Yeah. If
you're not in there, turn it off, unplug it.
That's the important thing too, because I think people forget. And that's what our policy is. If you have one, you have to have it plugged into the wall and turn it off as soon as you leave, unplug.
Yeah, and this will actually even have this has a little sign on it that says do not cover, high temperature, keep anything combustible at least 3 feet away.
So really wouldn't the modern ones, or the ones that are just recently made, won't they all turn off, or are there a variety of levels and they don't do that?
You know, they should, but you know, this is a little bit older unit, so it doesn't have that safety tip feature, but you always want to make sure that you test it before you use it, even if you get a brand new one.
Okay, and never leave it unattended.
Absolutely.
All right, so seems like common sense, but a lot of times when I talk with police and fire, a lot of things are common sense, but for some reason, you know, we might be chilly, we might go to another room, so for sure we're going to say plug it directly into the wall, do not leave it unattended, and then test it before you even plug it in.
Absolutely.
Or use it.
And keep it far away. You know, if we keep things 3 feet away, that means probably under your desk probably isn't the best place to put it.
Right.
Or in your living room, near a curtain, near your lazy boy, near a couch, anything like that. So.
Okay, so we can say space heaters used with caution.
Absolutely. And I'm going to turn this off because it's actually getting warm.
It really is cranking out a lot of heat. It does look like a speaker too, so you wouldn't even know that it's a space heater.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about furnaces, because I'm sure that they are more than getting their use over this cold winter so far.
Mine at home certainly is. Yeah. So, you know, any of your heating devices that you have at home. So whether it's a furnace, whether it's a fireplace, a wood stove, you want to make sure you get those inspected by a professional once a year.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never know, especially a fireplace or a wood stove where the inside of that chimney gets so hot, we turn the chimney out, you know, let the fire go out, and it gets back to, you know, whatever, 2 degrees like it was over the weekend. You know, it's gonna eventually crack, damage the inside lining of the fireplace, and then that allows the heat that's in there to come into your house and heat up the wood or the structural members of your house.
Now, if you're burning wood at your home in a fireplace, you should also make sure that all ashes are cool before you dispose of them, and You don't want to burn overnight.
And totally cool. You know, we want to make sure that the fire's out when you go to bed.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be awoken at 3 o'clock in the morning until your smoke alarm's going off. But we have fires all the time of people who think that their fireplaces ashes are cool, and they put them in a paper, grocery bag or a plastic trash can out on their back patio.
Out on their wood
decks, and then
another
the whole
fire
outside
waiting
of the
to
house
happen.
goes on fire. Yeah, so we want to make sure.
Is there a certain amount of
physically
time that you should wait after a fire burn?
It can be 24 hours, but if you've ever been camping and you go to bed, you have your little campfire going at night, and you wake up the next morning and you stir it up a little bit, and you can start the fire again.
Yeah.
You got to be really sure.
Or you just get a metal trash can, put your ashes in there, let it sit, then fill it full of water the next day. That way it's completely submerged in water.
And you know for sure that it's out.
Absolutely.
It could be 24, 48 hours easy that it's still hot.
It's one of those things that happens all the time, and you could get rid of your ashes for years and years and years, and it just takes that one time for a little hot ember to stay in there and catch your garage, catch your porch, catch your patio on fire.
So never be complacent when you know your fireplace is out. Make sure that it's out and wait at least 24 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked just a little bit, and then we kind of got on to fireplaces, but as far as furnaces go, when you get a furnace check, what are they checking for?
They're checking for the updraft, the feed of the oil, the feed of the gas that goes in there. They want to make sure that the combustion chamber is solid so that no products of combustion get out, carbon monoxide or anything like that. And then they will check by the updraft. I mean, anything that burns inside your chimney, whether it's gas or oil, all that exhaust, all that smoke goes up and out the chimney so that it doesn't back up and then get you carbon monoxide inside your home.
And that was an issue locally a couple of years ago.
It happens all the time as well.
Yeah.
So you want those checks. You want to get the carbon monoxide detector inside your home and make sure that those work, make sure that they're current, make sure that they're plugged in or have good batteries in them.
And your furnace filter.
And changing the furnace filter.
You should be able to look up at the light, see through your filter. If you can't see through it, pitch it, go to the store, grab another one.
So if I go to your website, is there a checklist on things that I need to be doing to get winterized at home?
There's all kinds of winter safety, and we try to also, in addition to our Facebook page, update that as well with weekly safety tips for people as well.
Because this is not something that obviously you want to brush off or figure you'll take care of next year.
Yep.
Because you really are talking about a life.
And it's all preventative. You have to do it before there's an issue. So it's one of those things you need to remember to do before you have your furnace catch on fire.
Okay. And again, we want to go to your website. I didn't realize you had a Facebook page, but the website is
www.washingtontwp.org/fire.
And you can get more information about that. Yeah. And as we were talking about life-saving programs, really a program called Project Lifesaver is something else that the fire department offers. And tell us about that.
Right. We've had it for about 15 years or so. It's a program, I brought an example with me, where we put a bracelet on the patient or person with Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, any sort of disorder where they get confused easy, we're under. And once a month, we'll come out, change the battery. They just wear this like such. And we have a second device that looks similar to this,
like
that we use in the event that that person wanders out of the home and becomes lost. We can use this to track this little bracelet.
Okay, so the ideal client for something like that is, you said, someone with Alzheimer's or autism, someone who may have a tendency to wander.
Yeah, they don't really realize their surroundings or the danger they're in. That's typically the ideal client. We have other rules and restrictions that go along with it we can walk through and make sure we meet. But this thing puts out a beep every second. It's a chirp. It's kind of like your FM radio, but only this device here can pick up that signal. So like this device here we're looking at has a range of 1 mile.
Okay.
With an open field, buildings and whatnot can interfere. Then we have another one that goes on top of a vehicle that does a 1/2 mile. So in the event somebody gets lost, we'll use both methods to try to track them down.
Now, how can someone enroll in this program?
So if you go to the www.washingtontwp.org/fire, we'll have a general email list. Go ahead and put your name, your interest in there. They'll get to me, then I'll call you, let you know what's going on, the cost, the rules, and that kind of information.
And if you are wearing that, and this is an international program,
Correct.
right? So I saw 100% success rate as far as retrieving people once they're lost.
Right. They got a Facebook page, and it's pretty impressive to follow them. That every day they're posting success stories that people finding within minutes, or in rough terrain and whatnot. So it's a proven program nationwide. I mean, for us, we're the only ones around here that are offering this. The closest one I'm aware of is Piqua.
Okay.
So we limit it to the residents of Washington Township, Centerville.
Okay.
So we won't operate outside that. But we always tell people, if you travel to Florida or somewhere, check, see if they have a Project Lifesaver program, and we can kind of transfer your information so you're safe down there if they offer, the similar program.
Okay, and so for people who might be interested, go to the website and register.
Yeah, just send the email. There's a general email,
Okay.
say I'm interested in Project Lifesaver program, put your name and phone number, and they'll get with me, and I can,
This is
I
really
can give you a
tiny,
call.
too. I'm looking at it, and so this little thing gets picked up, sends a signal, and
Correct.
Have you had need to find people in Centerville,
Yeah, I
Washington
mean,
Township with
our,
this?
Our enrollment goes up and down. I mean, right now we have 5 people enrolled in it, and I would venture to say every one of them we've probably had at least a minor search for, that they've wandered to a neighbor's house or went on a walk. Harmless to them, but to their caregiver, they don't know where they're at. So.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth the peace of mind that you're going to get from this.
Oh yeah.
So again, you want to go to the website, which is washingtontwp.org, and then /fire, and you can get more information about that. And this is something that you work with. The fire department comes out once you're called, or
Yeah, we'll give them instructions to call 911. If their loved one becomes missing, they call 911, and we gather our equipment and we meet them at their home, and we'll start the search from there.
okay.
So we'll come out.
Definitely a good program.
So we'll come out once a month. There's a little watch battery in the back of this. We'll switch out the battery once a month. The caregiver is going to be required to check it daily. There's a little
We get a
device
third piece,
here
okay.
that when you put it on top, that it flashes and you can check it daily. But that's really it. I mean, just a small little fee of $10. We love donations. We never had it be a problem, but we foresee someday somebody's not going to be able to afford that $10.
Right.
So, if somebody wants to donate to where, we can offer this to somebody who couldn't afford it, that'd be great as well.
It's a good program. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you too, because I know you see a lot of things, especially this time of year. We were talking about winter, the cold. What is the best advice you can give somebody to stay safe this winter? I'm putting you on the spot, Scott.
Oh wow! Just think ahead, plan ahead. Whether it's keeping some warm blankets in your car, whether it's having an extra layer of clothing on. When it's this cold and with the weather that we're having, if bad things happen, they turn a whole lot worse really quick. So just kind of that whole Murphy's Law thing. Be prepared, because if something bad could happen, it probably will.
Yeah, and that's good for outside the house. And I guess inside, I always hear of unattended cooking as being the #1 cause of fire. Is that what you've seen?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Looking at the national statistics, it's uncooking fires that, something on the stovetop, or they leave a stovetop on and lay a brownie dish or cover on it, and that burns and fills up the house, and absolutely.
Yeah, it's just paying attention to what you're doing, and especially if you're cooking, stay in the kitchen.
And if you did not change your battery and your smoke detector, you should have
Please.
done that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime we change the clock, so you should have done that a few months ago.
Right.
But yeah, push that little button on it and make sure that it works. And if it's not working,
We'll gladly come out and give you a hand too if you need a
Absolutely.
ladder or
Oh,
something
great.
to
Okay.
get the battery.
yep.
I'd say too, if we can't find you, we can't help you. So make sure your address signs are clear. You have an address sign. During the winter, clear your hydrants. If we can't find you, can't find the hydrant, it's just going to take that much more time.
Always make sure then that your address, especially if it's on your mailbox, which I know you all sell those, make sure
the
that's
green
nice and
address signs,
clear
yeah.
and easy to find.
Absolutely.
And we'll hopefully keep you a little bit safer this winter. Well, thanks so much for the information. You can always go to the Washington Township website, washingtontwp.org, or call the City of Centerville, 433-7151.